Hello guys and welcome back to another tutorial video. So as you can see, we're not inside Minecraft, but instead we are in MC Edit, which is an old Minecraft tool which you can use to look and change chunks. And in this particular video I wanted to show you guys my end crystal generator device. So as you can see, it's quite a complicated slimestone device that I built for version 1.8.3, but I'm pretty sure you're able to use it in every version from 1.8.0 to 1.8.9 at least, and possibly also some snapshots. But what does this device do? Well, let's start at the beginning. That's here. This is a flying machine with quite a long delay. So what you do is you break this obsidian block here. Then on top of this piston that is butted by this redstone block, you place any block, and that will trigger this system, so it will push this piston forward and also this one, and this will create a loop, so it will keep going forward, and this piston will push this contraption forward, which will push this and this and this, and it's like a long line, and it pushes all the way over to here where it splits up. This looks a bit weird because I needed some extra delay here, because all of the sections of the machine need to activate at the exact same time so that they don't get stuck. And that's why I need some extra delay, and on the ends there is the least delay because obviously these pushers add delay already. So what happens is, in the middle section this gets powered, and then you have a line like this, but with shorter, and it goes forward and then it splits up again. And I'll go to the part that happens first. So the most down here, so the lowest section gets activated first. And what happens here is these pistons push this part forward, so this is all getting pushed forward, this entire square here, and then two piston pushes after that the next section gets activated, so that is this one. And if you follow this line here, it activates, it like pushes this entire part, so basically right behind this, and pushes about 5 blocks or so. So it isn't really slime block or redstone block efficient, this machine, but this is my first time working with limestone, and I think this is impressive enough for a first time. And it then lastly, the last part gets pushed forward, and it happens in this order because obviously pistons have a push limit of 12, so you can't just let only this push and let it push the entire platform, because there's like I think like 17 blocks here. I can count it real quickly if I select this and then hit analyze. Yeah, 21 endstone blocks it has to push forward, plus this bit of 3 slime blocks and redstone blocks. So that would go way over the push limit, so you push the first part first, then the second part when there is some space opened up by the first part, and then the same thing happens with the last part. And that is why I see this ridiculously long delay here, because the top part has to wait before the bottom two parts have moved. And you are probably already wondering, why would I push a gigantic platform of end stone into what seems to be unpopulated and unloaded chunks? So you want to do this because before 1.9 every single chunk in the end gets populated with end pillars. So those are these obsidian things with an end crystal on top. And also in this space where there is now fire, there should be bedrock, but because of a bug the end crystal gets placed too low and it instantly destroys the bedrock. So you, with the end crystals you get in 1.8, you can also push them around and break bedrock using them. It's quite difficult to push them around because if you push them and they're in the fire block, they will instantly update and are like, wow, I'm in fire, I should actually explode right now. So you have to remove all these bottom blocks first and then build a small flying machine to push them back to the main island. And you can push them into end portals, but there is a little bit of weirdness with that, and I still need to test that because obviously they're able to destroy the end portal blocks with the fire, so I need to check that and how it works. So what happens is population happens in between chunks. So it happens like here in a 4x4 of chunks, and that 4x4 of chunks has to be loaded first. So this machine first pushes in this part, and then at last this chunk gets loaded. So when everything is already perfectly in place, the 4x4, the 2x2 of chunks gets loaded, and it will populate it in between here. And because it's a flat plane of end stone, there is quite a high chance of an end pillar generating, but obviously there is an entire chunk missing, so there is about a 1 in 5 chance, and I run this machine for quite a while. As you can see, I got some end pillars first, and then I got quite unlucky and didn't get any more. But it works, and that's what counts. So you will need to build this and then wait for a while, because obviously all the chunks, if you stand like here while you're building it, you're loading like chunks way over there too, so you would have to wait a while before it's all loaded. And obviously it has to be chunk aligned, so this little thing has to be one chunk, and this has to be in one chunk, and then this part has to be in one chunk. And how would you go about building this? Well, I am like a terrible tutorial maker, as you might have seen already. So I won't be making a video on how to build it or something. I'll just be including the MC Edit schematic and maybe a real download. So yeah, I'm quite happy with myself that I finally finished this stupid thing. And yeah, so when a pillar generates, the pillar is luckily made out of obsidian, so the slime blocks that are over here won't get stuck on it because obsidian is obviously unmovable. And I first added that these redstone blocks would actually be like over here, and that made it so that it wasn't like automatic, because you would maybe generate like 2 towers and then you would have to rebuild it. But I fixed that, and yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. And yeah, so about the end crystals, what would you want to do with them? Well, as I said shortly before, you can push them around and break uh, bedrock using them and all other blocks, because their fire block instantly replaces any block it's inside. So that might sound pretty weird, but if you push them into air, the end crystals, every tick it will place the fire block and then destroy it. Because obviously the fire block is like, well, I'm in the air, I'm not supposed to be here. And since fire creates light, it produces like ridiculous amount of light updates. So that is very laggy, but uh, 1.8 isn't too laggy from itself, so you can handle it. Even my terrible PC can handle it, so I'm guessing your can too. Also, don't look at the mess. I was testing a lot, and the machine isn't like entirely reliable, as you can see. If you like quit the game too early and stuff, it breaks. So be very careful, and after you have stopped it, which I haven't shown how to do yet, so I'll do that right now. So all you have to do is wait for this piston here to push, and then it will reactivate the next cycle, and then you can safely place an obsidian block. And then you will have to look in the distance a bit and see if the entire machine has stopped moving already. I'd suggest just waiting 30 seconds just to be sure. It doesn't take 30 seconds, but just so your gigantic machine that costed at least like a few hours to build doesn't break. Seems like a good precaution. And to activate it, all you have to do is like you see this. I told this already how to activate it, but after you've activated it, um, there is a bit of time because it first goes through the entire delay of this thing before it pushes this platform. So you have to be in a boat that is on this platform. Just standing there won't work because there is a terrible bug in 1.8 which got fixed in 1.9 with blocks and stuff not properly calculating if it should push or not, which makes it so you can fall through, and since there is no elytra, you fall into the void, which is very annoying. So if you use this machine in survival, I'd recommend a render distance of 16, because when I tried it with render distance 15, this happened. So you might just want to use render distance 16. And yeah, so it seems like it just requires one or two more pushes before it generates some end crystals here, or not, because I can be unlucky. Also, interesting thing, the entire end gets populated with overworld population. So what you see here is andesite and coal ore and diorite and dirt and granite and redstone ore, right? So the entire end gets populated with overworld stuff. So these used to be just stone pushers, and I used stone because it was a cheap material and I want to build this in my survival world. And all of it got populated to have some weird stuff in it. So the entire end gets populated with overworld stuff. So if you would technically make this platform out of stone, you might just be able to farm some diamonds really slowly, and it will take a long time because you every time it populates and it generates diamonds, you will have to go back here, load all of those chunks over there, mine the diamonds, and build a little platform below so they don't fall into the ground. And walk all the way back, fly it like 16 chunks, which takes a while, and you might get some diamonds, possibly. So, diamond farm, but it does load end chunks, so it isn't like an actual farm because it's unrenewable. But it allows you to get some diamonds without expanding your world size as much as loading overall chunks. So might be a fun project to try out. I might try to do it in my survival unobtained world, but it's pretty inefficient and stuff. But I do more inefficient things like killing the dragon and destroying all of the end crystals while killing the dragon instead of keeping them, so that I now have to build this machine. So yeah, the ID for this machine was from Panda4994. So he built a machine like this, and then he didn't include a schematic or world download. So I designed this all myself. Yay. Yeah. I might show you some in-game shots of the machine in action too. Be right back. So here we are. I hope it isn't too laggy because the last time I recorded in Minecraft it was like 5 FPS for you guys. But this will be quite a short clip because all of the stuff I really wanted to tell you I already told. So the machine is over there. You can see the end pillars in the sky. In 1.9 they made it so that the end folk exist, but only when does exist, but only when in the dragon fight. But in 1.8 you always have the end folk, so that's quite terrible. So what you do to activate this machine is you break the obsidian. I'll place a jungle leaf on here because if it goes wrong or something, flying machines can always break leaf blocks. So that is also a good way to build this machine with leaves as scaffolding, because the machine will automatically break those. So okay, I'll place it and then I'll quickly go into the boat. So place, oh, I was too far. Place, then we have the delay of the entire machine before it pushes me. And this is extremely laggy while I'm recording. Yeah. So let's see if we generate some end crystals. Ah, lag like yes. It doesn't seem like we generated any. Okay, so now I'll show you how to deactivate the machine. So what you do is you place an obsidian block on this stone block here. And watch out with relogging. Oh, we did generate one. That's perfect. Okay, I shown on camera it works. Perfect. Okay, so so that little blob you see there is a new end pillar. So I'll place this obsidian block, and the cycle will continue, but I hope I don't fall into the void. Lag. But this thing gets butted, but it can't push because the obsidian block is in the way of the redstone block that it wants to push. So the cycle stops, and yeah. So if you have this, there is an end crystal over there. Do not fly there, because that means you will need to fly the machine for like 16 chunks again before you can generate new crystals, because you will be loading all of those chunks. So what you should do instead is wait until the just fly further with the machine until the end crystal is like over here, and then just get it. And do not load more chunks into that direction. That's not smart and not efficient at all. So do not waste empty end chunks like that, because it requires you to move your machine for like 30 minutes. I hope the in-game shot wasn't too laggy, but because we're now in the literal void. I mean, how can this be too laggy? But you never know with a terrible PC. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, maybe leave a like if you liked it, and see you guys later. Bye bye.